This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, all. So let's get started now. So we are working on the email integration, right? Yeah. So it is outbound email integration. That means so we are sending an email from PRPC application to external receipts. Okay. So what is the OOTB activity? We have to send an email. Yeah. The send email, the notification, right? So we need to use that activity and we need to pass all the required parameters. Okay. So let's create an activity called send email to borrower in the work class. Okay. Send email to borrower. Okay. So how can we call that activity? Send email notification. Yeah. So we need to use the call instruction. So call send email notification. And if we expand this, you will see, all the mandatory parameters, right? The to, from, subject, message, password, SMTP host. Okay, these are mandatory. So yesterday we created the email account, and so where we have, some of the details available, right? The to anyway, so we are reading it from work page. Okay, the to email address, and the from, we need to take it from account. Okay, and the password, SMTP host. Okay, so these three details these three parameters we can take it from email account, and two we read from PY work page, and the subject also either we can hard code it or we can pass dynamically. Okay, and the message is also it is email body. Okay, so here we can write the body of the email. Okay, so now so what we need to do is so we need to open the email account into some page, and we need to pass we need to take those details like the page dot email address, like that. Okay. So before this step, so before executing this send email notification, so we need to take those details, right? So that should be the first step. See, so currently we are not passing any parameters. So just we can comment. This is for commenting the step. So it will not execute if you comment. Okay. So later like we can uncomment this one. So what is the email account class? So yesterday I have so we seen that, right? Yeah, the data email account. Define a page, let's say email, any page you can put like email details or email, or email account, whatever it. Okay, and specify the corresponding class, that is data address email. Okay, sorry, yeah, data email account. this one. Okay, and let's create the same page. Email and use obj open. Okay, and so we have multiple email accounts available, but so we need to use the corresponding one, right? The class is data email account, and so here if you look at this class, so we have two primary keys available. Okay, so one is account name and another is account type. Okay, so we must need to pass these two values. We need to pass the values for these properties: py account name and py account type to open the corresponding account. Okay, so now how can we know the account name and account type? So yeah, go to the email account which we created and you will find the details. So we created email account called PNC, and account name is PNC and account type is notify. So notify is the default one for all. So that's the reason, like, account type is the common, right? The same name is being used for all account, and this combination is unique. Again, you cannot create account with the same name, NC. Okay, so account name and account type are unique. The combination is unique. Okay, so what is the account name? PNC, right? And account type notify. So now the corresponding details will be available on email page. Okay, now what we can do is either we can assign it to parameters and later we can pass it, or directly you can put like email dot py email address like that. Okay, so let's use one more step called property set. Here we use this step to assign the values to all the mandatory parameters, and later so we can select this pass current parameter page so that the current activity parameters will be passed to send email notification. Okay, so let's define param dot. So here the parameter name should match param dot from. Okay, so if we are passing the parameters from different activity or where you are invoking, so you need to define here. Guys, put on mute please. One second. Okay, it's clear, right? So if you are passing the parameters from somewhere, so you can define those parameters and you can pass it. So otherwise, like so you don't need to define here. Okay, yeah, so param dot from. So what is the value for this? What is the property value? So it is email dot py email address. Okay, so If you're not sure about the properties, so you can open the account, and here you can identify. Take the live UI, okay, PY email address, right? So next param dot the password. So what is the value? Email dot py password. Param dot smtp host. What is the value? Email dot py smtp host or py host, I think. Yeah. The port is not required, so we don't need to pass that, right? So we have from the password and smtp host, and so we need a 2. So 2 we can read it from borrower page. So how can we put that? Borrower dot email. So whatever the email you enter in the first screen, that will be taken as a to email. Clear? So next, param dot the subject. Let's say I want the subject like this. Work object ID. Let's say verify address details is the subject, and you need to put the work object ID also. Okay. So this is the static data. Okay. And in the subject, we need a work object ID also, the corresponding one. Okay. So what is the property we need to put? Yeah, you can pass py ID like this. Clear? So param dot message. This is the, so whatever the text you enter here, so that will be sent as part of the email body. Okay. So if you want to send the screen, mean like the section, so we can include that. So we'll tell that. Okay. So please verify the address details. Okay. So if you want to send some section, so whatever so address details we have, so we can send the whole section. Okay. So for that we need to create a separate rule. And we need so we need to enable this use SSL. This is for security purpose. So that is the checkbox, right? So the Boolean value, Boolean property means like true or false. Okay. So we need to enable that. So enabling means, so when you enable that, the value will be true, right? So we need to pass that. Okay. Any questions? So we have all the required parameters available. So now what we can do is we can enable this pass current parameter page. What does mean? So whatever the parameters the current activity is having, will pass all those to the this activity. Okay. And if you pass any parameters here, those will be ignored. Like if you put something here, this will be ignored. Okay. pass the current parameter page. So after executing this property set, what will happen is on the parent page, you will have all these details, right? And all those parameters will be passed to send email notification activity, and that will send an email to the corresponding to email. Okay. Any question? So where we need to invoke this? So we need to invoke the post processing of borrower details, right? So once you submit the first screen, the email will be sent out. Okay. So go to the flow action. Save as into 03. Go to the action. So here we have, send email to borrowers. Okay. So let's say if we are passing the parameters from here, then you need to define in the parent tab of this activity. Okay. Clear? So now let's execute it. So before submitting the screen, see, open the tracer and see, okay, and you can see all the execution process of that activity. Okay, and so this is the to email. Okay, I'll be putting, and this email should be able to receive the email. Okay, so let's execute. Okay, we are routing it, right? So go to the auto loan process and remove it. Okay, so now let's execute it. So what are the mandatory details here? So the email, right? So we need email here. Okay. Yeah. So now, before submitting this screen, open the tracer and you will find, the steps here. And, sometimes it may fail, due to the wrong email address or password, or if the server is, down. So in that case, it will be failed. Okay. And so those things like, you can see here in the tracer. Right. So when you click on submit, the activity will be executed. This is the one, right? Send email notification. And activity started here. Okay. So the page new, so we created a new page. Okay. So at this point of time we will not have any data. It just created a blank page, and after opening that particular account, so you will see the corresponding the details, right? So let's say you are passing the keys, and if it is unable to open the account, the database, due to the wrong details or it doesn't exist, it will be failed. So that we need to handle. Okay. And okay, so this is since we haven't defined any step page, by default it will take the PY work page. And after executing the property set, if you look at step 3, you will see all the parameters. Okay, so where you can see the to, from, password, everything, and the same details will be passed to the send email notification also. Okay, so now, so the status is good, right? So if you look at the 4th step, the status is good. That means it has sent an email. So if you provide the wrong password or email, so you will see the status fail, and and based on that, like, you need to rectify it. Okay, so now see here, verify address details, and this is the work object ID AL-166. And what is the email body? Please verify the address details. Okay, so now, so in the email body, I want address details. I want all the borrower details. Okay, so what we can do is, so we can include a borrower details section for email body. So for that, so we need to create the correspondence rule. Okay, so we have a email correspondence that we use to send as part of the email body. Okay, any questions so far? Right. So we have a correspondence rule which is part of process category. So while sending an email, so in the email body, so either you can put the static data, or some of the details you can pass dynamically, right? Either properties or sections, etc. Okay. So create a correspondence rule. Go to the process correspondence to the separate rule type. Just put heading correspondence. And so here we have different types of correspondence. So the email, fax, mail, etc., phone text. But so we use email mostly. Okay. And if you want to send a message, so we can use this font text. But in some applications we configure that, but most of the times we use email correspondence. Okay.
Satya, there is an option mail also. What is the difference?
So mail is means like hard copy, right? Yeah. But so I never use that. Like, we don't use those options. So I worked on multiple applications, but mostly we use the email only. Okay. I think font text also we can use, but I don't think personal edition will support. So you can explore in PDN. So yeah, this is so here we write the text, or we can call the rules. Let's say in the email body, so we need to specify the borrower name. Okay, so again we need to read dynamically, right? So py workpage dot borrower dot first name. Okay, let's say dear first name, borrower name. So here So we have, this option is to insert the property, okay, and this option is to insert a rule, mostly HTML rules, like, paragraph, HTML section, the section rule. Okay, paragraph is like, so where did we work on that paragraph? Okay, this is just like, to enter the data. Let's say in some applications, so you need to provide lot of text, right, for terms and conditions, like static text. So in that case, like we use paragraph and where we write the, text, more content. Okay, so we'll work on that later. And section, and the rule obj cur. So this is the, to call under correspondence. Okay, yeah. So here we are inserting a rule, right? That is property. So here we must need to define the page. If you just put like, dot borrower dot first name, it will not take. Okay, you need to specify the whole even top level page also. Okay, the complete page hierarchy. What is the class PNC? You can specify the work class. And so when you execute auto loan or home loan, so since it is in the same inheritance path, it will take that. Okay, so now we can specify py work page dot. So you must need to define the top level page. Okay, so borrower dot, then first name. Clear? That's it. And if you want, this is the format is different, like, sometimes, like, so we have in between we'll have some spaces, and if you want to ignore them, so we can use some format here. And when, like, so if you want display this based on some conditions, so you can use the when, but these are optional, right? So please verify the below address details. Okay, and so here we need to include the whole section, right? So insert a rule, and which rule we are inserting, that is section, and what section it is, borrower details. If you want only address details, we can include that. Okay, PNC loans. Clear. And so we have, different font, and we can put some color. We can explore these options. And here, like, if we want the data in the table format, so we can use this. Okay, and if you have any repeating data, so where you can use that, you can create a section with the table, and you can call that table here, and you will send the data in the table format. Okay, clear? So now we created a correspondence rule, and we need to pass as a parameter to the as a parameter in the email activity, right? Yeah. So but here so we cannot directly assign the correspondence rule to this message property. Okay, so we have a separate method called property set cur. We need to use that. Okay, so what we can do is you can include this step before property set or after also fine. Okay. So property set cur is used to invoke the correspondence rule. Clear? So we do these kind of scenarios mostly in the real-time applications as part of the email functionality. Okay. So the correspondence tree is the name of the correspondence rule, that is the one which we created, and what kind of correspondence it is, email, the type, and to which property we need to assign this property, in the sense either parameter or yes. So param dot message. Okay, and you can remove this one, it's not required, right? So anyhow we are putting after this, right? So it will, this will be overridden with this correspondence, but anyhow, so it is not required here. Okay, clear? So now let's test this. And one more thing, yeah, you tell me.
Any property from which can be assigned value in this property set call. Like here we are assigning value to message.
No, remaining it's not required.
Yeah, now in this case not required, but
Mostly, yeah, it is not required. From this, these are direct values, right? But this is, this should contain, in the correspondence, like, we can call other rules and a lot of other data, right? So in order to hold that, so it should be the kind of, the different property. It should hold all kind of data. But here, if you look at, from password, these are all just, holding the single value. Okay. So you cannot, if you want, like, let's say, if you are not passing the section or passing the properties, okay, here also you can put it. And if you are not uh, editing the text in the, like, if you're not using any format, font or color, so directly you can put here like param dot subject, sorry, message, and here, like, property, anyhow we can put it borrow dot first name, and you can enter some static text, but you cannot call other rules like section, paragraph, and all. Okay. So, and one more thing is, since we are sending the correspondence, so here we have a HTML message. So correspondence is nothing but the combination of, the HTML code, right? It's because we are calling the rule HTML section. Okay, so which contain the HTML code. Okay, so if we are sending the correspondence rule as part of the email, so we must need to pass this. We need to pass the true value for that. That is also Boolean. Okay, so add one more parameter called HTML message, which is a mandate. That means, like, are we passing any HTML data as part of this email? If we do not select that, so in the email body, instead of, in the format, so you will see the HTML code. Okay. Right. So now let's test this. Go to the auto loan. That's it, right? Okay, so you can open the tracer and click on submit. Okay, so status is good. So now go to the email and you see here, right? So verify address details, and this is the the email body which contains all the details, but it is not in so it is the format of like the section, right? So whatever the data we enter, the same thing will be displayed. But like if you want in the different format, then again you need to create a separate template, means separate section, and you can call that. Okay, and see, this is the where we specified first name and it is taken from borrower page. Okay, and you can increase the font size, and if you can put in the color as for the client requirement, right? So generally they will provide you the templates, and so based on that, like you can design it, the font, color, everything. Okay. Clear. So this is the one way of sending email. Mostly we use this method, and in the flow, so we have a smart set called send email. We can also use that. Okay, so let's take auto loan flow. Go to the smart shape. Here we have a send email, right? So it will take the from password, all the details from the default account. Okay, so you see the account with the default, right? This is the default account. Okay, so that one will take the email from this, the email, password, all the details. You can try that, like so instead of first you work with activity, then you disable that activity and use send email notification like this. Okay, and so here the email address is the to email address. The field is like you can pass dynamically, or you can specify the email address like this. Okay, and the subject again so you can put like this, and the message either you can write here or you can call the correspondence like this. So if you are calling any other rules, then you can use the you can create a correspondence and you can call that. Okay, so now let's test this. So it will send two emails, right? So one is from activity and another is from email shape. Okay. So we see email, right? This is from, yeah, this is from activity, and should see one more email. It is not sending, right? So we need to check that thing. So we should not pass. We should not put the email in the quotes, and even it is not placed, right? Okay, it is not see here. Remove from double quote and see. And we need to check all the mandatory details. That's it. Okay, so put the email so without quotes, and now let's see. So now let's open the traces. So in the email smart type also there will be, there is like send email notification activity inside that. So it will be executed. But that we don't see here in the tracer, right? I think we need to enable, some options. Yeah, so now let's check the email. Again, it sent only this one. What we can do is we need to check the default account here.
We have one email in the
But it will read it from default actually. Yeah, so let's see here. Let's click on test connectivity. Okay, so if you log off and you log off and log in back and test, it will work. So you can try that. Okay, you pass all the mandatory parameters in the email shape and see. Okay, it will work. But so you need to create a default account. I think by default you will see account with the default where you need to change the details. Okay, so this is so how we use the email shape in the flow. So sometimes like you may need to send an email through activities in the most of the times. Okay, so after processing something, like immediately you need to send an email, so where the flow is not involving, right? So mostly we use the send email notification. The next and so we are creating the email account to capture the details, right? In some applications so we capture it from DSS. So we have a dynamic system settings data instance rule, okay, where we can define the static values and we can read from that. Okay, it's like how we are capturing it from email account. So in the email account we are opening and we are taking the details, right? But here we can directly capture the individual values. Okay, where like we have one function called get data system settings. By using that function we can get the values. Okay, so put heading dynamic system settings. It's very important. So this is the data instance, so where so we'll not have checkout and check-in option. and we can change the value at any point of time. So usually, so we define the endpoint URLs there, and when it is promoted to the different environment, so URLs will be changed. It will not be the same in all the environments, right? And we can log in into the system and we can directly change it without requiring check in and check out. Okay. So it is part of sysadmin category. Go to the sysadmin dynamic system settings. Okay. So dynamic system settings allows us to maintain different values at different environment levels or different environments. Dynamic system settings allows us to maintain different values at different environments. We call it DSS, dynamic system settings. Okay. So if you want to put some static content and that can be changed in the higher environments, we use this option. Okay. And we use, these details like, from email, the password, host also we can put here. So we can create 3 different data instances. One is from for password and SMTP host. Okay. Here, let's say, I am, let's create DSS with the name from email. And the warning rule set is like where we are going to use this DSS. Let's say PNC loans. This is the rule set. And the setting purpose, you can put the same name from email and create it. And here we need to put the value. Let's say so likewise, so you create a rule with the password and put the password of this email if you are capturing it from here. Okay. Clear? What you can do is you create one email account with one email ID password. Okay, that you use for auto loan or home loan. Okay, and create the DSS and with the different email and password, use it for another work type. Okay, so you need to put the condition if loan type is this, capture it from here. Okay, so we'll do that. Let's say this is from email, right? So and we need to capture it to the send email notification. So now if it is, so here we do not have any condition, either you run auto loan or home loan, it will execute like, from email always will be the one which we define in the account, right? So now if it is home loan, so how can we do that? So we have a loan type property, right? Loan details dot loan type is auto loan. Sorry, home loan, whatever it. We need to take the different email and password. Okay. So if it is home loan, it will continue. Otherwise, it will skip it. So what we can do,
type something about can you when
where? Okay. Yeah. So now, so param dot from where we are capturing it, it can be another email account or DSS. Okay, in some applications, so we use the DSS, and in some applications, so we create the account and we capture it from that, right? Yeah, so param dot from. So we need to get it from DSS, right? So we created a DSS, and in order to capture that value, so here we have a function called data system settings. Okay, so go to the expression builder, data system setting. This one, get data system settings. And what are the parameters? Warning rule set and setting purpose. Warning rule set is PNC loans, and setting purpose is from email. That's it. So initially, it will read it from account, and if it is home loan, then that value will be overridden with this value. Okay. Similarly, param.password, you can get it from DSS. You create a one more rule, one more data instance with the password, and you put that corresponding email password and capture it. And let's see, and you run out a home loan, and you see the from email. Okay, or even you can see in the tracer also. Clear or any question? Gopi Ardhu. So we are capturing it from DSS. This is the static value. You see here, the DSS. So here we don't see the checkout and check-in option, right? Where is that? Go to the DSS. So mostly we put the emails and endpoint URLs.
Satya, in live system, will we see this DSS setting?
Sorry?
In live system,
Mm-hmm.
like, will we see this uh, DSS?
Yeah, mostly.
And okay, and will it be editable? Like, we can just go and change the email ID.
Yes. So, in the testing environment, like, we put some email because, like, we need to have to test, multiple times, right? And so when it is promoted to the testing environments, I mean, like in the development, so we'll use some email address. And for testing environments, so we use the different emails where business users will test it. Okay. So, and in the production, we'll have some other email ID. Okay. And see here, you don't have checkout and check-in. So directly we log in into the application. So after deploying the code and these kind of things, right? So we need to take care manually. So we log into the application and we'll change the email. Okay.
What if multiple users change? They will be able to change.
Yeah, everybody will be able to change. I think we cannot delegate this actually, but like only generally developers will so after moving the code, so developer will change it, not editable by business users. Okay. So now, so we can include the same email in the SLA pass deadline. So where we have an option, right? Action in the action. So we can call the send email notification, this activity, and put number of events 3 and see how many times it is sending an email. Okay. So that you can try. So clear, right? So about how we send an email. So the next the concept would be the circumstance, and before that, so we need to know about the availabilities. Okay. So we have, if you open any rule, if you create, so you will see the option here, right? Availability. Okay. So the default option will be available for all the rules. That means, so you created a rule in different versions like 01, 02, 03, and by default it will pick from 03. Okay. So if I do not want 03 rule, what we need to do is we need to change this option. So you go to the 03 version rule and go to the available, change from available to not available. Okay. And so this rule will not be available for execution. That means, so if you have a rule here, that means it is being invoked somewhere, right? So let's say in the flow, when you execute a flow, and it will find for that instance, and it will always pick it from highest version. And if you make highest version rule as not available, then it will pick the next highest version, that is 02. Okay. So even if you make 02 as not available, then 01. If you make even 01 as also not available, then it will throw an error. Okay. So, and here we have different options, so we'll be discussing one by one. So putting rule availability. Okay. So this determines whether the rule is available for execution or not. The availability determines whether the rule is available for execution or not. So the default option is available always. And if you make it not available, then that particular instance, the rule will not be picked. Okay. And so we have a blocked. So if you make a rule is blocked and that is referenced in the flow or somewhere, it will halt the whole flow. But so we never select this option. Let's say in the environment, in the production, there are some disputed transactions are going on, and you want to stop the complete process. Okay, and you can make any of the rule availability as block, then the flow will be stopped working. So it will not, the flow will not be completed. Okay. So if you make any of the rule as block, which is referenced, in the flow, and if you execute that flow, it will not work properly. It will be halted. But again, as I'm saying, we never select this option. Okay. So you just understand. We'll give you the, you can refer the document for definitions. It's clear, right? So if you make any of the rule as block, then it will throw an error at runtime, and the flow will be stopped. And the final. So if you make a rule as final, you cannot save as it into the different rule set. So we see a lot of out of the box rules with the final. That means you cannot save as into our rule set. Okay, so let me show you some rules here. Because it is not required to modify it. So here we have some section called so not only this, lot of rules you see with the final. Okay, rule formatter, right? So this we cannot customize it, the rule formatter. Okay, you see, you know, the final, that means we cannot, you know, save as into our rule set. Let's say I want to customize this, you know, I'm saving it to PNC loans, and let's see what will happen. This instance conflicts with final record. In the base class we have this, right? So we cannot save as into different rule set, and you know, so then, like, you know, if it is allowed to save as, then that will be picked, you know, and this will not be executed, right? If it is allow us to save as into the different rule set, then that will be picked rather than this. Okay, it should not be the case. So we don't need to, you know, modify the header rule form always, right? And likewise, so you create a rule and you make it final, and another developers cannot, or you also cannot, you know, save as into the different rule set. But you can save as into the different rule set versions. Okay, but not in the different rule set. This option also we use very rarely, and mostly, so we make not available if the rule is not available. And sometimes final side, like if you do not want, you know, other developers to be saved as into the different rule set, so you can make it is final and withdrawn. So let's say you created a rule in 01, 02, 03, and you don't need, you know, all these version rules. So generally what we do, but let's say assume that 01 and 02 are locked, so we cannot modify it, right? So what we can do is we can make it withdrawn, so that all the previous rule set versions, rule set, sorry, all the rules of the current rule set version, all the rules of the current rule set will be ignored in the lower rule set versions. Let's say if we make 03 as withdrawn, it will ignore 02 and 01. If we have a rule in 04, then that will be executed. Means like if you have a rule in 04 with the availability as available, then that will be executed. But mostly, like, you know, so if you do not want that rule set, the rule to be executed, so that, like, you know, so we can make highest version rule as withdrawn, so that all will be ignored. Okay, so we'll work on these options practically tomorrow, one by one. And so once you understand about these availabilities, like, you'll be able to understand rule resolution. Okay, that is the separate concept related to this. And like, so we have a lot of rules available in the system, and every time when a rule is executed, it will follow 10 different steps to pick, you know, most appropriate rule. So let's say you created a customer detail section in different classes. Let's assume that 4 different classes, but which one the PRPC has to pick? It will pick only one, right? So that has to be most appropriate one. So for that, it will follow different steps. to find out that. Okay, so if you understand that concept, rule resolution, so you'll be able to understand, like, so you will understand the whole PRPC execution process, how it is picking the rules and all. Any questions? Okay, then, like, yeah, so tomorrow we'll work on the rule availabilities and rule resolution algorithm. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.